All right, let's get started. All right, questions on the homework?
Number 5.
Nummer 5.
You said one.
Number Santa.
You said 1 through 8. Yeah. Evens. Yeah.
What?
You said, no. It was all 1 through 8 all. Yeah. No.
Let's see what I said.
It was 1 through 20.
It was 7-6, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely said 1 through 8 all. He is correct. Don't know why it says 1 through 10. So let's fix that. 1 through 8 all. There we go. Thank you. All right, apparently we are taking a look at number 5 on page 250. All right, number 5 says the following. Fuel economy of the new Desert Rat, blah, 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 is 24% increase over the old model. Clearly we're dealing with what? An increase or a decrease? An increase. So for me, as soon as I see one of these, I put like, I don't know, old, new. Because old has to come before the new. So we're doing a 24% increase. So if it's an increase, is the old or the new going to be the biggest number? If it's an increase, the new is going to be the bigger number. So I know that when I do my first value of my formula, which we got to do big number minus small number, it's going to be new minus old is equal to percent times the original number, which would be the old number. So there's your math right there. Now we're just going to plug in numbers. So let's see what it does. Oh, I know what 24% is, so that's 0.24. Okay. What else does it say? If the new model gets 31 miles to gallon, so wherever I see new, I'm going to write 31. I see a new, I'm going to write 31. What was the fuel economy of the old one? So I don't know that one, so that's my X. See what it is? That's how I solve these things. Usually when the original number is the one you don't know, you always have 2 variables and it's the ugliest one, but it's no big deal. All right, so here's how you algebraically solve it. Well, X times 0.24 is 0.24X. Is that bigger or smaller than an X or than a 1X, negative 1X?
Bigger.
It's bigger, so I'm going to add 1X to both sides because it says minus 1X. So if you add 1 to both sides, we get 31. 1 plus 0.24 is, I think you can handle it from there.
No.
No. Where's the variable? What's attached to it? How's it attached to the inverse? So what are we going to do to both sides? What are we going to divide both sides by?
1.2.
Like I said, I thought you could handle it from there. All right. Anyone else? I know that I'm a math teacher, and I look at these, and I'm like, oh, these are easy, right? I did not think that when I was your age. So what I try to do every time that I teach this stuff is show you a method, a pattern, right, of figuring out. If this makes sense to you, step number 1, you figure out which one is going to be the bigger number. Well, it depends on whether it's an increase or a decrease. If it's an increase, the new number is always going to be the largest number. If it's a decrease, the old number is always going to be the larger number. So the only thing that changes is whether it's an increase or decrease. Hey, you can even in your notes write, hey, this is how you set up an increased one. A decreased one would be these 2 things flipped around. It would be old minus new. If old and new makes sense to you. First, second, whatever. All right. Any other questions? 1 through 8 all. Number 1 is $253. Number 2 is 3.6 ounces. Number 3 is 12.5%. If you put 0.125, you just forgot to move your decimal place. Number 4 is 18%. Once again, if you put 0.18, you just forgot to move your decimal place. Number 5, what's this math work out to? Divide 31 by 1, you don't get 0.0 something.
25.
Okay, 31 divided by 1 is a 1. I'm sorry, 31 divided by 1 is 31, but we're dividing by a little bit bigger than a 1. All right? So let's see, 31 divided by 2 would be 15. So it's somewhere between 15 and 31. What'd you say?
25.
That's between 50. It's a reasonable answer, and that is the answer. And it's in miles per gallon. Number 6 is $35. Number 7 is 450 calories. And number 8 is 275 passengers. Yes.
Number 2.
3.6 ounces. Yes. 6 is $35. Yes.
So for me, for like almost all of them, I was like 1 or 2 off without just
If you're talking about a tenth, then yes, right? But if you were like, well, I was the first digit was off, then we got big problems. Yeah. Number what? 450 calories is 7, and 3 is 12.5%. All right, Grayson, do your job.
Has anyone figured out the 80?
9th grader figured it out in 10 minutes, just like I did.
What was it?
I'm not telling you. It's for you to figure out.
Oh wait, so the points are still there?
No, the points are gone. I said the first person. He actually took longer than I thought he was going to take. He's pretty smart kid. I was highly surprised that no one in this class didn't figure it out, though. All right. As always, this chapter we're doing is, I got to make this one announcement, not for you, but for e-learners. E-learners, our math test will be on Thursday. I will post, let's see, what time is it now? 9:40. I will post the test at 9:30 on Thursday for it. I'm talking e-learners. 9:30 for e-learners. E-learners, you can only take the test on Thursday. You don't have the option, oh, I'm an e-learner, I'll wait till tomorrow to take it. You have to take all of your finals on the day that they are given. So that means you got to take your history final on Monday, you got to take your English final on Tuesday, you got to take your Latin final on Wednesday, you got to take your math and your science on Thursday. If you have a problem with your computers or something electronic or something's going on, you had to run to the hospital or whatever, you have to pick up the phone and call the front office. You have to tell us this. If you do not take your test on the day that it is given, we will give you a 0. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a straight up 0, right? I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to you lunch. I will tell you this every day for the rest of the week. Yes.
What time is in school
Are you, first period, it'll be the first period. So you're going to do 30 minutes. So somewhere around, let's see, the bell rings at what, 7:45? Final bell? So at 8:15, you'll be walking to your first periods, each one of you to take the test. And then it's 90 minutes, so whatever that math is. And then 30 minutes student advisement to relax, eat snack, study, final study for your test, and go take that, and that takes all the way to 12. 90 minutes. So absolutely for in-class people, you know, if you're a kid that you don't consider yourself average or above average, right, you're going to be spending 90 minutes taking a test. If you consider yourself average, for me, you'll probably be done in about 60 minutes. If you're above average, 45 minutes, something like that. That's a lot of extra time. You could use it to study for instance, on Thursday for your science test. You could use it to read a book, right? But I'm just trying to tell you that if you think it's your, Mr. C's math test, I'm sure it'll be easy. You better bring a book or something to keep yourself company because we're here for 90 minutes, right? But if you are an average kid, plan on spending 60 minutes taking a test. If you don't think it's your above average or average, then you're going to be spending about 90. You're going to be working till I say time's up. It'll be that long of a test. I plan on about 100 questions. There's 90 minutes. That means less than 1 minute per question. Hey, granted, some of them are going to be done in 15 seconds, but some of them will take some time. Yeah. Take a deep breath. Got oxygen now? We get out at half day every day, except for Monday. You might be staying until 3:30, but I'm not. Well, actually, I have to. I got to stay at 4 every day, but I'll be grading. All right. Any questions on finals week? Hey, that's next Monday's a full day, and then half day, half day, half day, half day. If all your tests are done, see you next year type thing. If you miss a final, right, you have to come to school on Friday. Obviously, if you miss Tuesday, I'll see you Wednesday, Thursday to remind you this. You miss Thursday, right? I'm not going to see you. You got to show up the next day. And like, well, what will be my schedule? We'll figure that out when you show up, right? Clearly, you're going to miss a math and a science. I don't really care which one you do first or second. But if you've missed like your English final on Tuesday, yeah, you're going to make it up on that Friday. Yeah.
What if you don't finish your class?
And you, whatever you miss, you get zeros for that part.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me when I say the part I said before. If you think you're an average kid, you're going to be done in 60 minutes. It's not going to be that hard of a test. You know, I'm not going to say, ooh, let me pick the hardest ones that we got that take 5 minutes a problem and give you 100 of those. All I'm going to do is we're going to go over everything that we've learned, the basics, give you some questions on that. We'll talk about it on Friday and Monday when we do the review. I'll show you what the test looks like. I'll give you half of the test on Friday, half the test on Monday, a practice test, and the questions will be exactly like they are in the regular test. Gabby.
Okay, so we were talking about this and like this is before this class. So before each test, we're gonna have like a few like 15 minutes.
You're gonna have 30.
30. So could I like bring donuts again for us like before our test? So it's like everyone.
I'll just put this out as a blanket statement. You don't have to ask permission to bring donuts to my
I know.
class.
I'm just making sure because I know during the test I'm probably gonna be starving.
Even though I would love to have food during the test, what I would recommend is keep your donut break for that middle part right here, because then it would really. Right? You have donuts. You just woke up and now you eat donuts, so you're gonna want to go to sleep or something like that. You know, that's my recommendation. Yeah.
No. So for our history final on the full day, are we gonna still have like 30
1 through 6 is as normal. So you're going to go through a normal 1 through 6. Now, I don't know what the other teachers are doing, but what we will be doing, we're going to review chapters. Let's see, we're finishing up on chapter 6. We'll review chapter 7 on Thursday. That one's done. Then I'm going to review chapters 1 through 3 on Friday, and then 4 through 6 on that Monday. Okay. And once again, I'm just going to hand you typical thing what I do. Hey, here's 6 pages of multiple choice questions. You know, I'll probably give you 50 of them or something like that. And this will be what the test looks like. Yeah.
Oh wait, is our final not going to be on chapter 7?
No, it will be, but we're going to do a full normal review on. I mean, the only thing that I'm off by like 1 day. If we had not had that one more snow day, we would have been able to take chapter 7 test. So we can't take an official chapter 7 test. I'll just throw those questions on the semester final. So am I going to? It won't be as usually a semester final. The things I ask are not as challenging as a normal chapter test. So it'll be more of the easier things. By the way, today's another butt kicker, right? I'm going to give you another formula. It's going to look suspiciously like the old formulas, but it's about something new. So chapter 7 is all about Bunch's formula. Oh, by the way, chapter 8 is geometry, yes or no? Chapter 8 is, oh no, coordinate plane. Now, there's a couple formulas for that. Here we go. Hey, there's only 2 through 10. So that means 5 problems. And they're all one formula. And the formula looks exactly like the other ones. It's just in a different context. Today, the real world comes and smacks you upside your face. And we get to talk about some things that you will have to deal with as an adult. Kind of sit there as a kid at home, and all of a sudden, brand new car shows up. Cool. Brand new furniture shows up. Cool. Right. So today we talk about that.
Yeah,
2 through 10 evens, not many. You don't have to do this formula more than about 5 times to be an expert at it. The key to chapter 7 is a good resource card with the formulas and an example written down right next to it. Here we go. So today, the 3 adult things we're going to talk about are something called commissions, discounts, and royalties. You're probably familiar with discounts, but you may not have ever heard of something called commissions or royalties. Okay. Good example right there. Good example. All right. So write this down, please. Box 1. The first word we'll talk about is something called a commission. It turns out that in our capitalist society, we sell things at a profit. Therefore, the people who sell them, they're called salespeople, salesman, saleswoman, right? They have to have some incentive to sell more things. Well, typically their incentive is that the owner of the business will give them a tiny, 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 tiny part in cash of the sale they make. So for instance, if I sell a $50,000 car, my boss gives me $500. That is called a commission. A commission is an amount paid to a salesperson for selling an item or service. This is what salespeople do. They sell things. So if you're a business owner and you employ salespeople, like a furniture store or a car dealership, they want to have their employees, their salespeople, to sell a lot of cars or a lot of furniture. That's how they make money. So how do you do that? Just yell at them, tell them to work harder? It certainly doesn't work in the math class, right? They have to have an incentive. And boy, if I could keep commission, I bet my homework rate would go way up if I paid you to do your homework.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. C.
Yes.
So about the semester test, do all e-learners have to come in too?
No, you may take it at home, but you must take it on that day. That's for all of your tests. So you can't wait 2 days to take it. You gotta follow that schedule that I showed you there on the slide. All right,
Okay.
back up here. Often the commission is in addition to their salary. You'll see this generally at some stores. They say, do your sales force get a commission? So for instance, they may pay them literally nothing. Anybody know an example of where the person that works at the store gets basically nothing?
I mean, like in waitressing.
In waitressing is the perfect example. Commission is also something called a tip, although we don't use those words synonymously, right? A tip is money that a person receives for a sale, in this case of food, right? Waitress, wait people, wait staff, right? They don't typically get paid a lot of money, like even less than minimum wage. But what they get are tips. Tips are a form of commission. Okay? Yes.
My dad was younger. He worked at a ice cream shop, and this rich guy always came in on a Thursday or something, and whoever waited him, they got $100 as a tip.
Boy, there have been some people fighting over that. Right. All right, those are called commissions. Second one in box number 1 is called a royalty. And no, it doesn't apply to kings and queens. So James said on Shark Tank, they talk about royalties. So here's what royalties are. You come up with this crazy good invention, right? And you work for someone. And, well, you can't build this invention because it's too expensive, right? You don't have a company. So you sell your invention to a company, and what that company gives you, besides some money up front, is what's called royalties. So they'll say, for instance, what's a good invention that you guys use all the time? Toothbrush. I have no idea who came up with a toothbrush, right? What year that was. I will say this, you know, tooth care has been a relatively 19th and 20th century invention. But whoever came up with a toothbrush, maybe they sold them to a company and they got 1 penny for every toothbrush ever sold by that company. That would be called a royalty.
And sometimes
I know another invention.
What?
The cell phone.
The guy that came up with the cell phone was invented by Motorola, the company Motorola. Cell phones, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't a single individual. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that come up with a good idea that get royalty. The other common use of the word royalty are singers, right? Or movie actors. So they get what something's called royalties. So every time you download the song, they get, I have no idea how much money they get. YouTube, this is how they work. Every time you watch the video, the person, right, gets a little tiny bit of money. Those are called royalties.
With the ads, like 1 cent.
I don't even know if it's that much, right? I would bet it's probably less than a penny, right? But those are all called royalties. It's the amount paid to a creator, owner of music, literary work, and other things. This is from our book. Our book was probably written before there's YouTube. Yeah.
So this is how I understand it. Because in Shark Tank, it's people giving money so they can either create or just get more inventory and stuff like that of a convention. You pay me $7.25, whatever. You pay me this little amount for every time you sell
Yes, that's what it is.
a thing until I get my money back.
Well, that's a different type of arrangement there. But royalty is basically money you receive every time something is sold. For instance, a song, or every time the book is sold, the author gets a little tiny bit of money. Those are called royalties. The last one, the one that we are all familiar with, is something called a discount. A discount is a reduction of price from the original amount. We like discounts. Discounts are probably the biggest sham ever invented by capitalism.
Yes.
Christmas time, not to be sexist or anything like that, but it seems like jewelry stores, who are primarily catered to women, all right, I'm giving an opinion now, we're not math mode, but opinion mode, but jewelry store will have something like 50% off. Let me tell you that there aren't too many stores that can stay in business if they're selling something that's 50% off. That just can't happen. They're just telling you that stuff to, ooh, 50% off, must be a good deal. Companies sell things to make profits. Yes,
I mean, like, if you jack the prices way up.
that's what they do.
And then you make it 50%.
And that's why it's legal.
Yeah. I mean, technically it's 50%.
Like
So
the
it's-
shoes.
If your shoes cost $10 to make, by the way, Nike shoes, right? Generally, $10 to make, they will sell for $200. So they can take 50% off and sell it for $100 and still make a whole lot of money.
Oh, wow, that's just sad. I was like, oh,
Right.
$100.
Yes.
Okay, so like something that was originally going to be $120 for each key, wouldn't they just be losing money then?
It would be. And this is why they could not stay in business if that were all the case. Now, granted, there's certainly some cases where they literally will sell things at a loss because they got to get it off their shelves type thing. But most of the time that you see these discounts, they do them specifically because they're still making maybe some money, but just not as much as before. Yeah.
When me, my dad, and my mom were shopping on Black Friday, like, we didn't realize it was Black Friday until we were right there. So we were like shopping, we ended up spending more than we usually do. Like,
That's why they give sales as well too.
I pull Black Friday because
Um,
they put the prices down really to skyrocket.
All right, quick note. Commissions, royalties, and discounts will be a percentage of their original price. Right? One is an increase, one's a decrease. The discount is a decrease. All the other ones are an increase. Right? All right, so example. You're selling a couch. You're a salesperson. You sell this couch. You're paid, this is an example, 5% of what you sell. So if the couch cost $100, then you made $5, right? Clearly, couches don't cost $100. They usually cost hundreds of dollars. So therefore, they make much more than $5. And by the way, they sell every day. So it's not like, okay, so they make $20 off of this, but that accumulates because they sell multiple things a day. Example of a royalty, you get 1% on all the songs you sell. 1%. So, for instance, if it costs, I don't know, $3 to get the song, they made 9 cents. And then lastly, you all see, something's 50% off, right? All right. Believe it or not, there's not a new formula for all this. It's our tried and true. We've used this before, except we like to write it like this. This was our is of formula. It's that formula, except we apply it to commissions, royalties, and discounts. So technically, it's not a new formula. It's the old is of formula, but there won't be an is or an of. So we better define what P and B is. What?
So P is gonna be I want to say wrong. I might be wrong.
You're wrong. All right. So P is all three. P is the commission. It is the royalties discount in dollars or cents. Right? Hey, I got $5 commission. That's the P. Hey, I got a $5 discount. That's the P. I get a 10-cent royalty on every song I sell. That's the P. Percent, still the percent written as a decimal. The B will be either your total sales or your original price. You need to have this written down somewhere. So P is in dollars or cents, the commission, the royalty, the discount. Percent's a percent written as a decimal. And B will be the original sales price. That'll be for your discount. Or, hey, I sold $20,000 in furniture yesterday. Okay. So you're not going to see the word is or of in these. Well, there might be an is or an of, but we're not going to use that to determine where the numbers need to go. The only cool thing about, since we're so deep into this chapter right now, is the rest of the stuff is just plugging in numbers, chugging through a calculation again. The same kind of math you've been doing for the last 4 days, we do for a 5th day. What's tomorrow's class? Percents and proportions. Okay, so finally, tomorrow we get to something new. All right, has everybody got it written down? We're going to do just a few examples. Once again, obviously, calculators will speed things up. No, you can't use a calculator on the test, but certainly today that's fine. For homework, I don't care. It's just, can you use the formula correctly? You just got to be ready to do this by hand. Come test day. All right, so here's box number 2. Last year, Mr. Stubbs received a commission of $18,000. That's a lot of money. On his sales, he sold, what, $250,000 almost. You know, he sold almost $250,000. I don't know if that's good or bad in his business. What was the rate of his commission? What's the key word here? Rate refers to what? P, percent, or B? Percent. Rate. Percent. Percentage rate. Okay? So we're solving for percent. So there's our formula. I said that P stands for his commission, royalty, or discount. What is his commission, royalty, or discount? There's your 18,000. Okay, we said we're solving for percent, so there's my X. Therefore, the only other number up there must be the total sales, right, or the original price. Hey, it literally says totaling. Okay, big, ugly numbers. Boy, you'd hate to do this by hand. But the cool thing is that, well, we got a calculator in hand. So what's the intermediary answer here? What you got, Kelly? She's already changed it to the final answer. Intermediary answer would be like 0.18. Is it some decimals or not decimals? 0.08. Okay. 0.08?
Yes.
Okay, so 0.08, right? It worked out nice. I guess I picked friendly, or maybe this is from the book. Friendly numbers. I'm going to change that to a percent, so 8%. Easy, hard, where are we at?
Easy, hard.
It's both?
Yeah.
Okay, so the key here is that knowing to use this formula for the scenario of percent, royalty, and commissions. Secondly, knowing that the P stands for the money, the royalty, the commission, or the discount. And lastly, B is either total sales. Hey, we have total sales here, or the original price. The original price will be for a discount one. We're going to do a couple of these. Carpet salesperson receives 6% commission on her sales. If her commission was $216 last week, what were her total sales?
Oh, I know you.
Okay, what does P stand for?
P stands for the
Commission. Does it say what her commission was?
216.
Well, that was easy. So P is 216. Does everybody see where I get that from? Do we know the percent?
Yes.
Yes.
What's the percent?
6%.
But it's got to be written as a decimal.
0.06.
So the only thing we don't know is the B. That's the total sales. Look, what were her total sales? So that's what we don't know.
For total sales.
So we grab our calculators and we get to the answer pretty easy. What's the answer?
3,600.
What?
3,600.
So she sold 3,006. Is that right? I'm assuming he's right. Make sure your decimal's in the right position. Remember your calculators. Did I give you that speech? Calculator hates you,
Yeah.
right? Yep. It's called fat fingering your calculator. I want to press 9. Here's my finger. There's 9. I want to press 9. Oh, I pressed 8. I don't notice it. Calculator doesn't love you. It's perfectly happy with an 8. It will give you the wrong answer and be happy. You won't be happy about it, but make sure you always do calculations with a calculator twice. So what's the answer? $3,600. That's how much she sold. Questions? All right, we're done with commissions. Let's go to royalties. An author of a book on running, some book on running, receives a royalty of 75, what? Does that say $75?
Yeah, totally.
So that would be 0.75 of a dollar. You say 75 cents, how do you write 75 cents?
75 with a cent.
With the C thing on it, right? If it's 0.75, that's of a dollar. So technically, I should read this as 0.75 of a dollar, but we know that it's 75 cents. Okay. So, author of a book on running receives a royalty of 75 cents per copy sold of the book. If the royalty rate is 12%, how much does each book cost? There's our formula. P stands for what?
75.
No, in general terms. P stands for
Commission.
commission, royalty, or discount. What is the royalty here?
75 cents.
So 0.75, don't screw that up. It's got to be 0.75. What's the percent of royalty?
0.12.
And we've got to write as a decimal. Therefore, we're solving for B.
I'm giving you the answer.
I would hope so. You got a calculator in your hand.
It's 6.25.
What does that mean?
That's the rate. No.
Speak.
I'm speaking. I'm confusing myself.
What does it mean, Callie? Each book costs $6.25. By the way, if you're ever struggling on how to answer a question, find the question mark.
I was looking.
How much does each book cost? Well, you got 6.25. That's $6.25. Questions? Correctly? Yay, nay? Okay. Nina receives a 15% royalty on selling an album. Boy, this book is old. Do you guys even know what an album is?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's an album?
Something
It's like a group of songs.
like a record.
Oh, I've never.
Right.
Isn't it on a tape?
That's an example of it, but this is music. An album is basically an artist puts together a collection of music. Used to be, it was a physical thing, like you got this brown disc.
I'm not talking about the big one.
I know, but that's what an album was called. The small one wasn't called an album. It was called a song, because that's what was on it. A song, one song. Well, there's a front and a back. You got two songs, A side, B side.
No, I have an album disc. I have all the albums in
Right.
this one disc.
A compact disc used to have a whole album on as well too. But nowadays, albums kind of like they still release artists because of that whole. Used to be this whole industry. Like there used to be the paper that would go around the album was a place where you put art, and so they would release. It's literally called an album cover, and so you'd see all this crazy art that artists would put on this stuff. And that used to be a whole industry in and of itself. All right. Back to this, 50% on each album sold. The recording company gets the remaining money. What is the selling price of each album? This one's a tough one. If the company receives $9.52 for each album sold. It sounds like this is straightforward. This one's tough. P stands for what?
All three: royalties, commission, and this.
Okay, well, do we know how much this person receives for royalties?
Nope.
We know the percentage rate. So let's think this one through. This one's complicated. Okay, the amount the person receives for royalties is a percentage of the total price. What's the total price of the album?
$9.
Is that what it says?
No,
Yes.
no, he receives that per album.
Right. So that's
Doesn't
what
say
it
that
says.
at all. Read it more carefully.
The company receives
For
$9
each album sold.
That's not what it says, even though it looks like that's what it says. What does it say?
What is the selling price?
Well, that's the question.
If the company receives
Does it ever say how much the album cost?
$9,
It doesn't, so we got to think about this. T for total cost. The total cost of an album is made up of two things. How much the company makes and how much the artist makes added together. How much does the company make?
$9.52.
How much does the artist make?
We don't know.
So that is your P. I told you this one's hard. So this one is, and it's not that all royalties are this hard, but this one is like that way. Everybody follow the logic on this?
Yeah.
The total price would be how much the company makes, how much the artist makes. The company makes $9.52. We don't know how much the artist makes. They make X. So P is going to be this ugly thing. All right, catch up. I did not do this correctly. All right. So 9.52 plus X. Okay.
Formatting error.
No. I did this right. Sorry. Hold on. If the total price is $9.52 plus X, right? P is the royalty, right? Or the commission, or the discount. B stood for the total price. This was that. There we go.
There you go.
So we're looking for.
So
P.
what does the artist make?
We don't know.
So
15%.
artist is your X. So X equals the percent. What's the percent?
15.
0.15 times, we need parentheses, that right there. Because that's the original price.
Wait, so then are those two X's same?
We'll see, it'll just be a little bit of algebra. So we got what, 9.52 plus X. Okay. Oh, we need a calculator. What is 0.15 times 9.52?
1.428.
1.428 plus 0.15x. Right? I'm just doing the distributive property. That times that. This is smaller than 1x.
So 1.25x.
So, oh no, we got to subtract both sides. So 0.15 subtracted from 1 would be 0.85.
85, yeah.
And that equals 1.428. All right. Luckily, we have a calculator in our hand. Do the math.
I can't see what Jackson paid.
1.428 divided by 0.85.
Jackson, where's your head?
1.28.
1.84.
428.
8.5.
Oh, I was hearing you say it, but I was doing it.
Just type your calculator. Give me the answer.
1.68.
What were we solving for?
What's the artist get?
How much the artist gets.
So anybody see what was the final answer?
1.2.
1 point.
68.
Anybody see the problem? There's not a problem. Anybody see a problem with the answer? What's the problem with the answer?
It's small.
It's artists get
I
nothing.
got a really long answer. I got 0.5952.
What did I say about your calculator?
I didn't do it.
The point I'm trying to make on this one is that, check it out, the artist makes a small amount, the company, Alright, so maybe it'd be better to be the company than it'd be the artist.
I just did I did it actually now. I can do it. I just
All right.
thinking.
By the way, I have no idea. I don't know if they got this example from the book or whatever. But I do not believe most artists get that much, 15%. I forget what I was listening to. It was something. It was like one of the big rock bands of the 70s and 80s, and they were saying of all of their albums combined that they sold, they made less money than like on a T-shirt that they sold, you know, themselves. It was. I'm exaggerating slightly, but it was something like that.
So they were basically living off of purchase.
Well, when you are a poor, this is my opinion here, but when you're a poor and struggling artist, and somebody comes up with you and said, "Yeah, we'll produce your records and stuff. Just sign this contract." And they're like, well, yeah, they're offering me a lot of money, but the reality is that when you sell millions of albums, somebody's making, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. So, questions? All right. How many examples we got left?
2,
What?
2,
What box are we on?
6.
Okay. So we just did royalties. Let's do discounts. All right, discounts are the only slightly weird one. All right, so the sales price of a clothes dryer is $252. The original price was $288. What's the discount rate?
Why didn't you say was?
Because the price is no longer.
Oh.
All right. It's still the same thing. We have to remember, though, that the P stands for your discount, the discount. Does it tell us the discount up here? Does it tell us the discount?
Yes,
Yeah.
no, it does.
Where?
252.
That's not the discount.
But it says, what is the rate, what is the discount rate? That's
What is the discount? Doesn't say what's the current selling price. It says the discount. What's a discount? It's also amount of money. So for instance, have you ever seen something on the store that says 50% off? Or maybe you see something that says $100 off, right? One is a percentage rate that's off. The other one is a value. We're looking for P for the value, not the percent. Percent goes right here. So how much is the discount? Given this information, how much is the discount? Angie knows what to do.
Do you subtract?
Just go with your gut instinct. Do it. So Angie says the discount is $36. No, she's right. Callie, we're going to say the same thing? Yeah. So the discount, right, would be the difference of the original price and the selling price. So the discount in this case, well, discount the original minus the final price or current price. Jenna.
I didn't do nothing.
You certainly didn't look at the board.
I was certainly looking at the board.
Jenna. Okay, there is a camera. All right. 288 minus 252 is 36. So the discount is 36. Okay. Do we have a percent up here? No. So that's going to be my X. And it says total sales or original price. What was the original price? Okay, there we go. All right. All right, this one's an easy one. Final answer? Final answer.
12.5.
Jackson saying 12.5%. Landon's not even checking his work. He's just saying, well, Jackson knows it. He's right. Okay. The two people confirmed it. 12.5%. Questions? Nothing?
I have a question.
I thought you said that was the last one. There's one more.
Can you not call me for an answer?
Say again?
Can you not call me for an answer? No.
Jaden, let's be truthful. If I stopped calling on you, you would be very upset.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you don't even call on.
All right.
Yes, we do. You get it.
A pair of pants was sold for $35.50. Is on sale now for $24.85. What's the discount rate? Once again, capital letter P stands for what? In this case, doesn't stand for percent ever. What does the capital letter P stand for? Doesn't stand for total either.
Discount.
The discount. What is the discount?
6.5.
Angie says $6.50.
It's 10.65. I read it.
10.65. Now remember, we find the discount, that's the P, by taking the original price and the sales price and subtracting the two. So if we subtract those two, we get the P, right? And you'd say it was 10.65. So that's my P. I don't know my V, but I do know the original price was $35.50. Jaden, then ignore her.
It's annoying. It's just like, who's gonna buy it?
Jenna, you're talking louder now than you ever talk when I ask you a question. All right, this is why I know you can talk. Answer, please.
30%.
30%? You agreed? We good? No. So what would you see you walk in the store, in this particular store?
30%.
You'd see a pair of jeans in big red letters that would say,
30%.
that's what's going on there. I don't know, they have these things, you walk in and they sell things. I haven't been to one in like 6 months. I think they're called stores. You know?
What's that?
Why jeans though?
I don't know. What else? It says a pair of pants. What else? A pair of chinos?
No,
Sweatpants? How much? Do sweatpants cost that much?
Sometimes, yeah. Like
Buying the
Nike,
wrong kind then.
like Nike ones cost like $60. I want
All right. We got about 5 minutes left. Get out your books, get started. Let me help you on these.
I forgot my book.
Help with Jackson.
One slot.
Yeah. Poor Jackson.
It's gotta be just on purposely waiting.
He's right there.
Donovan, any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
When is your final, Donovan?
Next week.
Do you know what day?
I'll have to look at the calendar again.
Do you got your phone on you?
The Zoom meeting's on my phone.
All right. Take a picture of this slide right now. Here is your final schedule.
Thank you. Thanks.
You good?
Yep.
All right.
Bye,
Any
guys.
All right. See you later.
Bye.